review of arithmetic. This is just a very basic review, and then we're going to move on to unit multipliers, which tends to be one of the more difficult concepts that we do in the beginning of the year. So stay with me, even if you think you know what you're doing on the beginning part. Stay with me while we move into the unit multipliers at the end of this lesson. I'll go relatively quickly on the beginning part, and then you can rewatch it if you need to. All right, let's get rid of this blue. Let's go back with white. All right, we're going to add these two numbers. They're decimal numbers. So when we're adding decimals, we always want to line up our decimals. So I'm going to do that 4.0016, and we're going to put our decimal point there. 0.02163. So the main part in this is just make sure you line up your decimal points like this, and then just add vertically. You can add a 0 there if you want numbers all to match. So we're going to get a 3, 12, carry the 1, 3, 2, 0, 4. You're going to like these. So that is the answer to that one, right? Yeah, this is a little bit of a review. All right, now we're going to subtract. We're going to subtract this from this. That means the 4.0016 goes on the top, and the other number goes on the bottom, and you want to line up your decimal points. So you get 0.02163. Now, in order for this to line up, I'm going to add a 0 right here, and then I'm going to do subtraction. Hopefully y'all remember how to do subtraction. You've done it most of your lives. So we're going to put a 5 up there, make that a 10, and we get 7. Make sure you put the 0 up there. It's harder to do. Oh, we can't take 6 from 5, so we're going to borrow 0 and make this a 15, and we're going to end up with a 9. We can't take 1 from this, so we need to borrow the whole way across. Borrow 1 from that one, borrow 1 from that one. But in order to borrow, we need to make this one a 3. This became a 10, but now it's a 9 because we borrowed 1. This became a 10 because we borrowed 1, so we're going to make that a 9 as well. And then finally, we can make that one a 10. Oh, these are tricky. All right, 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 2 is 7. 9 minus 0 is 9. 3 minus 0 is 3. And that's the final answer for that. All right, more of a review. We're going to multiply. Multiplication, you don't line up your decimal points. You don't need to because I'll show you what to do at the end. So we get 4.06 times 0.016. So we're going to multiply these through. So 6 times 6, we're going to take the 6 times all 3 of these, 36. We get a 3. 6 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. 6 times 4 is 24. Then we take our 1 times all of these, so we get, and we move over, we indent, because this is really 10 times 6, which is 60. So that's going to be a 6. 1 times 0 is 0. That was an old 3, we don't use that again. 1 times 4 is 4. You don't have to take the 0 times everything because it's just going to be 0. We line this all up, we get 6, 9, 4, 6. Now here's the tricky part. We count in how many places the decimal point moved from the end of the number. So we count over 1, 2, 3. So it moves over 3 here. It moves over 1, 2 here. So we're going to add those up. It's going to move over 5 places from the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's your final answer. It's 0.06496. Hopefully that's all a review for you, so I went really fast on that. All right, the last one is divide. I'm going to move up here because I don't have enough room. So we're going to take 6.039 and we're going to divide it by 0.03. Sometimes I don't write the 0 right here because it's insignificant. It doesn't change the value if you have it or don't have it. So in order to start your division problem, you need to move your decimal. You can't have a decimal in your divisor, so we're going to move it over 2 places. And in the dividend, we're going to move it over 2 places and then move it up to the top. So basically, we have 3 dividing into 6039 with the decimal point at the top. So let's go. They gave us an easy one. So 3 goes into 6 2 times, so we're going to get 6. We're going to subtract and we get a 0. And so we're going to put a 0 up here because 3 doesn't go into 0. We're going to bring down the 3. We get a 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Bring this down. We get another 0. Bring down the 9. 3 times 3 is 9. And we put it down there and we have no remainders. So the final answer to this one is 201.3. All right, that was our quick review. I think that's it for just a quick review of decimals. So let's go on to unit multipliers. As I said, this is where we often run into some trouble. Whoops, I think it went too far. Hold on. All right, so this says use 1 unit multiplier to convert 32 feet to inches. And so you're probably saying, what is a unit multiplier? Well, a unit multiplier is something like this. I'm going to show you a unit multiplier. 12 inches over 1 foot. Because they're the same thing, it's the same as 1. They equal each other. Anything over itself is 1. Another unit multiplier might be 5 over 5 because it's the same as 1. So we're going to be converting different units into other units. So we're going to have to memorize some of these unit multipliers. So we'll be using them enough, I think you'll memorize them just by using them. So let's just start. I'll introduce the unit multiplier as we need it for the problem. So please follow this carefully. Rewatch this if you need to, because it's one of those concepts that keeps building and building throughout the year, and it's also on the SATs. So let's try it. So this is how I want you to do it. So we're going to write 32. You'll thank me that you're really good at these by the end of this class because you'll need them for chemistry and different sciences. So you write 32 feet, that's this one right here, and we're going to convert it to inches. So I'm going to put times, and we're going to fill in a unit multiplier here. So we're going to inches, so we're going to actually use this unit multiplier. 12 inches is the same as 1 foot, so it won't change the value if we multiply by it. Now, here's the tricky part. You can do these unit multipliers. You can put the 1 foot on the top and the 12 inches on the bottom if you want. You can flip these because 5 over 5 is the same as 5 over 5, right? So since they're the same thing, you can still flip them and they're still going to be equal to 1. Now you have to pick which one you're going to use. Are you going to use it in this mode or are you going to use it in this mode? Well, we want to get rid of the feet and we want to turn it into inches. So we're going to end up with inches on the top. So we're going to have inches on the top and we're going to get rid of the feet. So we're going to put the feet on the bottom. Whatever you end up with is what needs to be on the top. That means these are going to cross out and you're going to be left with what you want. So I'm going to pick this one, A or B. I'm going to pick A. So I'm going to put the 12 inches on the top and I'm going to put the 1 foot on the bottom. Now, the funny thing is, in the back of your book, they tend to leave it unmultiplied together. So when we do this, a lot of times in the back of the book, they're just going to leave it like this. 32 times 12 inches, like that. And they don't even multiply it out. So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But until you can use your calculator, you can just leave it like that, or you can multiply it out. So that's how you use a unit multiplier. These are, I think we are going to move to 2 unit multipliers by the end, so let's just learn these ones and then we'll figure out the 2s in a minute. Okay, same thing, use 1 unit multiplier to convert 36 feet into miles. So we need a unit multiplier for that. This is a really popular one. There's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. You're going to have to memorize that. So you can have it like that, or you could have 1 mile over 5,280 feet. You can use either of them. We'll call this one A and this one B. All right, so let's get it started, and then we have to pick whether we're going to use A or B as our unit multiplier. So we have 36 feet. We're going to use 1 unit multiplier, so I'm going to make a space for 1 unit multiplier. We want to end up in miles, so the miles are going to be up here. So are we going to use A or B? We want miles on the top. We want to get rid of the feet, so the feet need to be on the bottom. So it's going to be B is the one that we're going to pick. So I'm going to put it in here, 1 mile, 5,280 feet. Now when you're converting from one unit to the next, you want to end up with the next on the top and the other one needs to cross each other out. Kind of like when you did something like this. 2/3 times 1/2. These would cross out, right? The top and the bottom. You're doing the same thing here. We're going to cross out the feet. And our final answer to this one is 36 over 5,280 miles. So it's funny because they multiplied this one out in the book and they divided it, which is really hard. I think it's a hard problem until you have a calculator. So you can feel free to leave it like this. You did a conversion. You changed it in how many feet are in. You're changing 36 feet into how many miles? It's 36 over 5,280 miles, or 0.0068 miles. Okay, let's do another one. Use 1 unit multiplier to convert 47.25 inches into centimeters. Okay, so before we even write our unit multiplier, I can set this up. We want centimeters to be on the top because that's what we want to end up with, and we want the inches to cross out, so we can do that. And now I'm going to tell you the conversion unit multiplier. So there's 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. Now remember, you can use it either way. 1 inch, depending on the problem in which direction you're going. So we want the centimeters to end up on the top, so we're going to pick this one. So I just fill in the numbers, 2.54. You can really learn to love these problems. And so that's all you can do. So you just put them in parentheses. You get 47.25. Remember, the inches crossed out, so we don't have any more inches. 2.54 centimeters. And that's your final answer. Let's move on to example 8. This one is use 1 unit multiplier, same setup, to convert 42 meters. So I'm going to set it all up even before I get out the unit multiplier. 42 meters, and we want it to turn into centimeters. So the centimeters have to be on the top. That means this one needs to go on the bottom. So what's the unit multiplier for this? Well, there's 100 centimeters. Another one you have to memorize. Over meters. Over is in 1 meter. Or you would say 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters. They have a chart of these in the book you can look at. So which one am I going to pick? Well, I need the centimeters on the top, so I'm going to pick this one. 100 centimeters over 1 meter. The meters are going to cross out, so your final answer is 42 times 100 centimeters. And that's your final answer. I love these. I think these are one of my favorite things. I'm going to just circle these that you need to memorize. You need to know these right here. This is one. You need to know this one. And you need to know this one. These are your unit multipliers. There's more that we're going to hit too. All right, now the next one, I left no room on my board to do this problem. So that's a little bit of a problem. So let me just try. We're going to use 2 unit multipliers to convert 42 feet into centimeters. So get that down, copy that down. I'm going to go to another slide so that I have space to put this one. So hopefully I have room in the next slide. Okay, I do. I'm going to steal a little bit from this page. This is, I do believe, the last slide. Okay, so I'm just going to draw like a line. Okay, I'm going to steal some room. Hold on. All right. So this problem was we're going to use 2 unit multipliers to convert 42 feet. 42 feet into centimeters. So we need 2 unit multipliers this time. So here we go. So this is your setup. This is a little bit trickier. So 42 feet. Now, write that down. Now you need 2 unit multipliers. So we're going to make 2. Because it said 2 unit multipliers, we make 2 spots like that. Where do we want to end up? We want to end up in centimeters. So I'm going to put that's where we end up. So I'm going to put that on the top, on the end. Okay, tricky, tricky. Pay attention. Now we need to get rid of the feet, so that means the feet need to go here because we need to cross them out. Now, the problem is, what transitions do we need to, oh look, here's all the equivalent measures. That's perfect. Okay, so we are going to go from feet into inches into centimeters. Because where is that? Right here. 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. There's no unit conversions here from feet to centimeters. So we're going to inch our way across. So let's just start with feet. We're going to change them into inches. Just hopefully you're going to have a little bit of time to learn these because it's going to come up again. So we know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. That's one that I circled on the other page. The feet are going to cross out. And now we have inches. So let's find the unit multiplier for inches. Do you remember that we did, there's 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. Or there's 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. Now you need the inches to cross out and the centimeters to end up at the top. So we're going to pick this one right here. So I'm going to put the 2.54 centimeters on the top, the 1 inch on the bottom, because you need your inches to diagonally cross out. So your final answer for this, and they leave it in parentheses, is 42 times 12 times 2.54, all the units crossed out except the one that we want, which is centimeters. So that is the final answer to this problem. A little tricky with the 2 because you have to figure out which one to put in the middle that will get you your ultimate answer. All right, we have another chance at this. This one says use 2 unit multipliers to convert 4 miles into inches. So let's set it up. So we start with, even if you don't know how to do these problems and you're confused, I want you to set these up with the 2. You put the first number there and then put the 2 unit multipliers beside it, like this. All right, we know we want to end up in inches, so that goes at the end, and we know we need to cross out the miles. So we are going to have to, it's a little bit of problem solving, so you're trying to figure out how to go from miles to inches. So there's no miles to inches down here on the chart, but we can take miles into feet. So I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to put the mile is the 1, it goes down here, and we're going to put the feet up here. The feet is 5,280. All right, now the miles crossed out. Then we know our feet need to go down here because we need our feet to cross out. So that's going to be 12 inches is in 1 foot, and we did it. These are all unit multipliers. Whoops, this disappeared. They're unit multipliers, which means they're equal to 1, which doesn't change the value. So we write the numbers down. 4 times 5,280 times 12 inches. Now sometimes your numbers are going to be on the bottom, like the 12 might end up be on the bottom. You would put it in the denominator. All right, we'll run into that shortly. All right, I think that is the last slide. So that is it for lesson 4. And just make sure you can rewatch this video if you get stuck or look at the examples in your book. All right, until lesson 5.